The other day I listened to a friend's poignant story of her life as a young girl. She felt she never really had a home. Her mother had many children, no way to care for them, and so several were placed in an orphanage. My friend was one of those children. Over the next 10 years, through adolescence and into her teens, she found herself in foster homes, a group home, back with her mother, and finally married to an abusive man. What a terrible disappointment. My friend at age 7 never imagined, never wanted the sad and frightful turns her life took. What child would? Whoever wants or plans to say, "Where is home? Where do I belong?" Joseph was a young man without a home. The Bible tells us his story. Joseph was the youngest of 10 brothers and 1 sister. Joseph was greatly loved and favored by his father. Now his brothers became aware of this favoritism, and slowly their jealousy turned to hate. One day when Joseph was a teenager and out of his father's sight, the brothers grabbed him, threw him into a pit, and later sold him to slave traders on their way to Egypt. What a horrendous shock and disappointment for this boy who had been so treasured and loved by his father. Joseph suddenly had no home. He was auctioned off in the slave market of a foreign country where he couldn't speak the language. One of Pharaoh's officials bought Joseph and came to trust that young man with everything he had. But the official's wife later framed Joseph in a sex scandal that she herself had invented, and Joseph landed in prison. He went through many trials in that strange land, far from his own home. However, there is one phrase that keeps recurring in Joseph's story. But the Lord was with Joseph and showed him steadfast love. Where are you today? Maybe you're far from home. Maybe you actually have no home, and you too ask, where is home? How do I find my way home? What does home look like? Joseph continued to suffer. His friends offered to help him and then forgot him. He was asked to do things he didn't feel prepared for, but he did his best and relied on God. And again, the narrative keeps repeating, the Lord was with Joseph and showed him steadfast love. Slowly, because God was with Joseph and Joseph acknowledged that, and because he was honest and worked hard, he rose among the ranks within government. Many years later, through a set of unexpected circumstances, Joseph came face to face with his brothers who had betrayed him. He was now an official, a very powerful man with great influence. Believe me, those brothers were terrified that they would be killed. But Joseph never forgot that God had been with him and had showed him steadfast love. He reconciled himself with them, saying, "You meant it for evil, but God meant it for good." Whatever sorrow or great disappointment you are living today, God is with you. He wants to show you his steadfast love. He can turn what is meant for evil into great good for you. My friend that I mentioned at the beginning of the program says that although for many years she didn't recognize God as her God, he never left her. He showed her his steadfast love through kind people who kept coming into her life. And when she put her trust in Jesus Christ, she said, "I found my true home." Come home to Jesus.